Aloha and good afternoon. I'm Dylan Encheta in the H&N Digital Center. We want to take you live to a news conference with Kauai County officials regarding the search for the downed chopper off Kauai's Na Pali Coast. Let's listen in. Here's Mayor Derek Kawakami.
Folks, first and foremost, we want to offer our sincerest condolence, thoughts, and prayers to everybody involved, to all the family members. As mayor, this is the toughest type of press conferences to have. I will say for a small, close-knit community, these type of occurrences shake our community to the core. As mayor, I couldn't be more thankful for the coordinated effort from our U.S. Coast Guard, our own Kauai County First Responder team, and to everybody involved. The amount of resources and manpower that's going into this operation is nothing short of profound and amazing. And so I want to offer my thanks to everybody involved. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to our fire department chief, Chief Gibson, for more details of the operation.
Thank you. Aloha. Kauai Fire Department personnel were dispatched to a report of an apparent helicopter crash into the ocean approximately 1:20 p.m. yesterday, Thursday, July 11th. Our firefighters from Rescue 3 aboard Air 1, Honolulu firefighters from Honolulu Fire Station, ocean safety personnel were in response. Our local Kauai United States Coast Guard were monitoring the radio. They coordinated and responded with us to this incident. The incident was located about a quarter mile off the Na Pali Coast near the Hanakoa Valley. During the search yesterday, upon arrival, our ocean safety officers aboard a rescue watercraft were able to recover one individual. The individual was unresponsive. In that area, they observed what appeared to be an oil slick on the surface of the water. There were some small pieces of debris floating in the water. Our crews, our partner agencies, United States Coast Guard, are continuing today to search for any remaining survivors. We have also been assisted by the Hawaii National Guard with some additional air support.
Aloha. I'd first like to thank Kauai County due to their hospitality, this amazing facility, their organization, and this has been a very effective and well-coordinated search effort. With the Coast Guard, we were notified immediately by Kauai Dispatch, immediately after they were notified of this potential incident. We responded with a Coast Guard response boat medium from Station Kauai, as well as a HC-130 Hercules aircraft, an H-65 Dolphin helicopter, and a fast response cutter, Coast Guard cutter Joseph Gerzak, which is a 154-foot Sentinel-class cutter. Together, those resources searched yesterday. The Coast Guard cutter did not arrive until this morning at about 7:30 a.m., and our air resources and the boat returned this morning at 6 a.m., and they continue to search today. We're also grateful for the Hawaii National Guard. Their H-60 Black Hawk has joined the team, and they've been searching today and helping with the response. And we're going to continue to remain on scene in this search effort. Thanks.
At this time, we're going to open up the floor to questions. If you guys have any questions, now's the time.
The body that was recovered, was it a male or a female?
Good afternoon, Chief Reba from the Kauai Police Department. At this time, we are able to release any information about the identity of the body that was recovered, pending proper notification of the next of kin.
And is this still a search and rescue, or when does it become a recovery mission?
Thank you for the question. This continues to be a search operation. We have assets from the Kauai Fire Department, United States Coast Guard, and the Hawaii National Guard, all currently continuing an active search.
I think this would be a follow-up to the police chief. We're hearing that the name of the pilot is Guy Croydon. Do you folks have any confirmation on that, or have any background on, his history as a pilot?
Again, we're not at liberty right now to release and confirm identities of passengers or pilots on board pending proper notification of next of kin and the ongoing investigation. We will release that information once it becomes clear that we can release it.
Can you go over the weather conditions yesterday and today for the search?
Yes, the weather conditions at the time of the incident, winds were about 15 to 25 miles per hour. Lightly cloudy, there were some scattered showers. We do not believe the weather was a concern at the time, and the National Weather Service reports the weather conditions were normal for this time of year.
And then did, excuse me, if any of the witnesses who witnessed what had happened say anything, maybe possibly mechanical, it looks like something was going out of control for Catherine?
So due to the remote location of this incident, communications were very difficult to receive. So we did receive one report from a witness that was received into our dispatch center via a text message. And so that text message was very limited information. We haven't been able to contact that witness. Our efforts to contact that witness remains. And so once we are able to ask that individual more questions, we may be able to have more details to release at a later time about what may have been seen or heard at that moment. I'd also like to take this opportunity to ask the members of the public that if anyone does see or has information related to this crash, to please contact the Kauai Police Department. Because this is an active search and we do have personnel that continually are looking for potential survivors and or debris from this field, we recognize that because it's the ocean, that some of this debris may carry into other areas of the North Shore. So if there are any boaters or individuals along the coastline that identify any type of or see anything that may be debris related to this incident, we would ask them to immediately notify the Kauai Police Department so that we can properly dispatch units out for the recovery of those items.
Are sharks at all impacting operations? We're hearing that there were several sharks near the wreckage yesterday.
Thank you. That has been a consideration for our first responder safety. We are focusing all of our efforts on the surface water for any survivors right now. We're taking all the weather, we're utilizing our assets in the air from the Air National Guard and from Coast Guard to help keep an eye above things. But currently, our first responders are keeping safety in mind, and we're doing our search from personal rescue watercraft and other water vessels.
And then are the others, the tour boats allowed to go to that area? I know that they had a no-fly zone over the search area.
Sure, the tour vessel activity is continuing. We haven't restricted their efforts, but we did establish a temporary flight restriction zone to keep aircraft out of the area, just to make airspace deconfliction not an issue and to keep our search efforts safe.
Is it common for the Coast Guard to reach out to the National Guard for assistance, or is there a specific reason why folks have asked for the National Guard's assistance or for their resources?
That was actually a great request from Kauai County, and we supported it. And once they were able to get that support, we coordinated directly with them to ensure our action plan worked together.
Can someone describe the terrain in that area, the nearest terrain offshore or onshore of the Pali Coast?
Na Pali Coast is a very remote area. It's about a 15-mile coastline that's only accessible by hiking, by vessel, or by aircraft. There can be high winds that go down those cliffs. It's famous for its beautiful cliffs, and that can make searching near the coastline a little more dangerous, but we've been able to keep our crews safe and a little bit offshore to encounter those kind of conditions.
And is it one local resident, 2 visitors?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Is it one local resident and 2 visitors?
Yeah, at this time, preliminary information indicates that the pilot on board was a local resident, and the 2 passengers on board are believed to be visitors from the mainland. We don't have any information to lead us to believe that they're international visitors.
All right, we have time for one final question before we conclude.
Can you describe the condition the body was found in?
Obviously, as we know, these types of incidents are very challenging and difficult given the conditions. And so with full respect to the family members, we cannot report what the condition of the recovered body was. And so I don't have any additional information about that at this time.
All right, this concludes today's press briefing. Thank you for your time. Updates will be provided as information becomes available. Thank you.
Once again, that was a news conference with Kauai County officials along with the Coast Guard and other authorities that are currently helping in the search for that down chopper off Kauai's Na Pali Coast. Now, this is a heartbreaking incident. As you heard, they are still searching for the remaining 2 victims. One body was found yesterday shortly after crews were dispatched to the area. Now, to recap some of the details that we just learned, this is an ongoing investigation. It's an ongoing search. One person was recovered yesterday, and authorities here said that in the area that person was found, they also found an oil slick on the surface of the water, along with some debris that was in and around the area of the crash site. Now, the calls for this crash happened started coming in around 1:20 p.m. Thursday, and officials said that the chopper went down around the Hanakoa Valley area, which is a very hard to access area of Kauai's Na Pali Coast. For anyone who has ever been to the Na Pali Coast, you will know that it is a very mountainous terrain area. You can only access it either by hiking or on boats, or you can see it from the air via helicopter. Now, Kauai County Fire Chief Mike Gibson said ocean safety personnel recovered that body about a quarter of a mile offshore. And in addition to the fire department, the Coast Guard and state crews are also participating in the search. Now, officials described the weather conditions during the time that the chopper went down as fairly normal for this time of year. They say winds were reported to be between 15 and 25 miles per hour. There were light clouds in the area and scattered showers. And overall, they believe that weather was not a major contributing factor to this incident. Of course, the investigation is ongoing. And we've also just learned that the pilot was a local resident of Kauai, and the 2 people on board were visiting from the mainland. Officials there said they have no reason to believe that they were international visitors. However, they do say they are from the mainland. They obviously cannot release any details regarding their identities at this time because it is still a very active situation, and the crews are over there on Kauai are still searching. They are faced with some challenging conditions, including the ocean waters there. And as you mentioned, one of the questions were about sharks in the water, and officials there said that they are considering that as a factor for their ocean safety personnel who may be out there on jet skis, on boats, and even if they are deploying divers, that's something that they have to keep in mind for that area. And also earlier today, we've learned from the Office of the Governor that an emergency proclamation has been issued relating to this chopper crash. To read the press release directly, it says Acting Governor Sylvia Luke provided the following statement. She said, "We extend our deepest condolences to the loved ones of those involved in this terrible incident. As the search and rescue operations continue, the state stands fully prepared to work in tandem with the County of Kauai and our federal partners. We thank all responders and agency partners for their assistance during this difficult time." Now, what this proclamation does is it authorizes the Adjutant General to activate the Hawaii National Guard to deploy state resources such as aviation assets as needed to respond to the crash to maintain the public health and safety in the county of Kauai. So as we all know, this is a very active situation. We learned about this just yesterday afternoon, roughly 24 hours ago, and crews there are doing their very best to search for any sign of the debris, the crash site, or any survivors at this point. We will continue to update this story on our H&N digital platforms. You can download your Hawaii News Now news and weather apps and get the breaking news updates on this story sent right to your phones. For now, I'm Dylan Ancheta in the Hawaii News Now Digital Center. We thank you so much for tuning in. Stay with us. We'll have more on this on later editions of Hawaii News Now. Aloha.